All right, so we are recording now. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I think we're in this point in the semester when we're getting tired probably. We probably got things due, things coming up, right? We haven't fit the full halfway. We're week 7 in the semester, so next week's week 8. So we appreciate all of you taking the time to come out to the session. So we got an exciting one for you tonight. If you haven't heard about modernizing medicine, I don't know where you've been. You got to get your head out of the sand or something. So we're very fortunate to not only have modernizing medicine, but to have an awesome representative here to speak. So like I said, for those of you that don't know modernizing medicine, they were actually here in the research park at FAU for a little bit, and they've grown so big they had to move out of the FAU park, but they're still down the street in the Boca Raton Innovation Center off of Yamato there. So our guest speaker tonight that's representing modernizing medicine, he's very close to all of us because he's actually an FAU alumni. So he went through our accelerated program, he did the undergraduate MIS, then went into the Masters of Information Technology and Management. He was extremely active in MISA. He actually even worked, probably like the little known fact of Shannon, he actually worked for the College of Business for their marketing team. So we're really excited to have him. So can we give a nice warm virtual round of applause for Shannon Stewart from Modernizing Medicine.
Nice,
All right.
nice. I loved it. It's a great introduction.
There we go.
All right. So, hey guys, as Dr. Sweet said, former student, now in the career space, thanks to actually ModMed. I mean, not ModMed, actually to MISA, because I actually met the recruiter for ModMed at MISA. And that's how I actually got the job with ModMed. So I don't have a recruiter with me here today, but I do pass on all the information and resumes to the recruiters or any that are sent to me. So, and I do always tell the recruiters for ModMed to put a little star by anybody who says they were in MISA. So awesome. You guys definitely get first preference when it comes to interviews.
That's awesome.
So little secret, don't tell anybody, I told you though. So does anybody know exactly what ModMed does, or what's our business?
So you can either pop open your mic if you want to, or you can write in the chat, whatever you guys prefer.
Do you deal with healthcare?
Correct. Healthcare. Yep, we do healthcare, but more on the healthcare tech side. So we aren't exactly a healthcare company, but the funny thing about it is that we employ a lot of former healthcare workers. So nurses, doctors, and a lot of the doctors are current. So let's just go through this really quick right here. All right, so it's a little bit about myself. As Dr. Sheet said, MIS undergrad, MSITM grad school, and I'm currently doing my doctorate in information security. So stay busy. And currently, so when I joined ModMed, I was a corporate support supervisor, and then I got promoted to support manager. So now I sit directly under the vice president of IT. I currently have my own business as well, and I'm the director of marketing for American Institute of Cybersecurity Leadership, as well as a cybersecurity fellow for them. So, oh, and I'm in the military, coming up on 19 years in April. So very busy, as I said, but this just goes to show, you know, if you really want to, you know, get out there and do things, just go ahead. Don't be afraid to do them. You may think you don't have the time, but you have time for whatever you make time for, pretty much. All right. So I don't know if any of you are old enough to know what this is right here. So this is the filing system back in the day. Well, some places still do have it today, for healthcare records. So you go into your doctor's offices and there'd be shelves and rows of files like this. And what happened was our CEO, he went in to see his dermatologist, and he saw that the dermatologist had just rows of these files, and he saw that they were looking for his file, and they were having a hard time locating it. And when he went in to see his dermatologist, he said, "Hey, Michael," that's the doctor's name, Michael Shirley. He said, "Hey, what if I could build you a system that would put all those records into an iPad, and you'd be able to search up patient histories, search up, document, do your dictations, everything from this iPad. Would you be interested?" And Dr. Sherling jumped at the chance. He said, "Sure." He knew that Dan was very successful in the app creation, development space, because I'm not sure if any of you are old enough to know what Blackboard is, but Dan, the CEO of ModMed, he actually created Blackboard with 3 of his college friends in Cornell. So they came up with Blackboard. Blackboard became a $1 billion company, and he and his 4 friends sold Blackboard for $1.62 billion. And then Dan retired. He was 37 at the time. He retired. He got bored, basically. Blackboard had turned into a 5,000 employee company. He sold the company, and now he had nothing to do. So he decided, I'm going to start another company. And hence ModMed was born. So Dan and Michael go into business together, basically. And they start creating this environment, this application for electronic health records. But they wanted their product to be different from everything else that was out in the space. Everything out in the space was dull and gray and black and green, and it just wasn't exciting. And doctors were kind of on the fence about using electronic health records at the time because it just didn't appeal to them. So what Dan and Michael did was they found Mihai. Mihai was a FAU student at the time. He was doing his PhD in engineering, I want to say. So Mihai was the 3rd person employed by ModMed. So they took Mihai from FAU. Mihai finished his PhD, and he became the vice president of engineering. And he started building out along with Dan, because Dan is actually, he still develops to this day, even though he's the CEO, he still develops for ModMed. So he's very hands-on. He's always in the development rooms with the developers, telling them tweaks and things like that. So the 3 of them start this company, and they start hiring people. They create Emma, and Emma stands for Electronic Medical Assistant. It all fit inside of an iPad, and it was very rough at first, but over the years, over the 10 years that we've been open as a company, Emma has become the standard for electronic health records. We are currently, this year, we won 10 #1 spots for electronic health record in Black Book. So we have different specialties that we focus on. Dermatology is our #1 breadwinner. We're actually 60% saturated in the dermatology space. We own 60% of the market space with Emma. And we are branching out into different specialties every year we're bringing on new specialties. We just bought another company 2 months ago. They were a podiatry, electronic health records. We bought them and absorbed them, so now we're in the podiatry space as well. We bought a GI company, the #1 GI company, we bought them as well. So now we are the #1 in GI as well, automatically, because we purchased them. So that's one way to get to the top. You know, you just buy the #1. So this is Dan here. And this is, can you see my mouse? I'm not sure if you can see my mouse.
Yep.
Okay. And this is Michael over here, the dermatologist. So they're the two co-founders of the company. Okay. That's a little video on how it works.
Want to make, is there audio that we need to listen to? Just want to make sure of that.
There is audio, but I'm not sure how to make it play through here.
Yeah, I think we had a problem with it on a Mac.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll explain to you what's going on.
All right.
So a person walks into the office, basically, and they have a beacon in the office, and it allows them to check into the office as soon as they get in. Because now we have a desktop solution as well for records management. So the app talks to the records management and talks to the iPad, and everything's like a big ecosystem within the ModMed office. So that's the patient portal. So now she's just checked into the practice management automatically. And this is where they can document their medical information, any signs and symptoms that they're having. And then it sends that to the actual person that's gonna call them into the back. So that's 10 to 15 minutes saved for doctors. One thing that doctors often complain about is that they don't have enough time to do things. So what ModMed has been able to do is increase the time that doctors have to actually treat people instead of documenting. And that was really the goal of Dan and Michael. That's Emma. That's Dr. Rosenthal. He's actually one of our doctors. So he basically just told Emma that the patient is done, so his dictation automatically stops. So he's dictating while he's actually documenting on the actual model of what's wrong with the patient. So yeah, basically that's the gist of the company. What they were aiming to do, pretty much decrease times for patients being in the office, also doctors documenting, and we've done that very well over the years. So this is actually kind of our motto, increase efficiencies in medical practices while improving both treatment and business outcomes. I'm not going to read all the slides because I do want to give some time for Q&A at the end, but I will send the slides to Dr. Sweet so he can distribute them to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. And you could post it if you wanted to post anything in the chat.
Okay.
You have the option
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
So maybe you can wait till the end and then you could throw it in there.
Yeah, definitely. So what makes ModMed different is most companies would go into a specialty and say, all right, you are a cook. I'm a developer. I want you, the cook, to tell me how to develop, but I'm going to do all the development and I'm just kind of going to learn how you cook. With ModMed, we took the opposite approach. What we did was we hired doctors and we taught the doctors how to code. And this is what sets us apart from every other EHR because our program is actually coded by doctors. So they know exactly the type of things that they want in the system. And we provided that ability for them to create their ideal EHR. And this is why it's so widely accepted. So we have on staff about 25 doctors. Most of them code, and a lot of them are practice, kind of like guinea pigs for new ModMed rollouts in their own practices, because they also practice as well. So they're at ModMed 2 days a week, and then they're at their practice 3 days a week. I'll send this out to you guys. This is when we won our UX award for design. I don't know if any of you guys are into UX, but we're very big on, we have a very big UX team who does a lot of studies on how to engage people into using the app more and engage the employees into taking less time to do things. So our culture, this is a very big thing because I know the questions are going to come up. ModMed is very, very protective of the culture. Dan and Michael have built something that is it feels like family. And because of that, they're very careful with the hiring. Getting hired at ModMed, you probably feel like you're applied for the NSA because there's multiple interviews, sometimes 3, 4, 5 interviews before you're even, you get an offer letter. Me personally, I was interviewed 4 times before I even got an offer letter. Once by HR. You have to get past HR, then you have to get past the hiring manager, then you have to get past the team, because at ModMed, they like to have the team that you're going to be working with interview you as well to see if you're compatible. We're very big on compatibility with the rest of the company. So this is some of the fun stuff that we do at ModMed. Lots of parties, lots of food. We do catering twice a week when we were in office. So we did catered lunch twice a week, catered breakfast on Fridays every week. This is Jersey Day over here. This is Superhero Day. Everybody dressed up as superheroes. That's Dan being crazy because Dan is a very excitable kind of guy, very happy, never not smiling when he's walking around. And he makes it a point to meet every single new hire group that gets hired. Even though the company is at 800 employees right now, he still comes out to every single new hire and he speaks to every new hire. And he tries to learn your name. So, this is yoga every week, twice a week, yoga, I have massages quarterly. So it's kind of like working for a tech company. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Google or LinkedIn or any of those big tech companies. It's that type of atmosphere that Dan wanted to build, where it's just family. This is our new headquarters. You guys haven't gotten a chance to be there yet. This year was supposed to be the year, but unfortunately, COVID. So yeah, we just built this new headquarters, I want to say 2018, the end of 2018. And we moved out of FAU space. We're actually in the middle of adding more to this. So this is 155,000 square feet. It has about 7 kitchens, lots of lounge space, a lot of non-traditional meeting spaces. So you see a lot of couches and lounge chairs, and that's how people take meetings at ModMed, basically. So my department, we're responsible, if you see all these TVs around here, we're responsible for everything that's electronic in this company. So besides lights and things like that, but it's just a lot of things to be responsible for. So I actually sent Dr. Sweet some careers that we have open. We're hiring like crazy right now. During COVID, we hired 150 people. So where a lot of companies were laying off people, Dan actually ramped up hiring. And we have currently 44 positions open right now for hiring. And I shared those with Dr. Sweet.
Yeah, and Zach's going to send it out in the newsletter. So that way everybody can kind of get access, because I'm like, if I send this list, I was amazed at how many you had available. I'm like, people's jaws are going to drop.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, speaking of COVID, so one thing I wanted to talk about, and this just speaks to the culture of, Dan and the company. Basically, Dan said that he put it to the company and asked everybody, what would they rather do? Would they rather take a pay cut, or would they rather, we start cutting some people? Because, of course, COVID affected us really, really big, because a lot of the specialties that we are in are elective. So dermatology is an elective type of specialty. It's not surgery. It's people doing Botox shots and things like that. But we do have some specialties that are very important. And the company took a joint pay cut. Everybody rather take a pay cut than have it. Not one single person was let off of the company. Hold on. What is this? Oh, yeah. So yeah, not one single person was let off the company. So that just goes to show you the type of culture that we have at the company. And because of that, within a month, we were able to get back to restore full pay, because everybody made it a point to really go out and work hard to bring in money for the company and bring us back to full revenue within a month. And since COVID, we've actually shattered every sales record that the company's ever had during COVID. So, and during everybody working at home. We've been at home since March, except for my team. My team, unfortunately, we're just too involved into the infrastructure. So we actually in the office, but we're literally the only people in the office. Me and my 7 guys, 6 guys. So let's see. Oh, and Q&A. So that gives me 30 minutes for Q&A.
Oh, that was great, Shannon. So feel free, anybody, kind of our Q&A time is just your ability to ask Shannon any questions you have. So you can either write in the chat, or if you want to open up your mic and then speak, feel free and go ahead. And then also, I just want to note, before we finish, Shannon has, through Modernizing Medicine and himself, has sponsored for 2 students to get free premium membership from ISA. So we're going to raffle those off after the end of the Q&A. So an enticement to hang in there till the end. So with that, I open it up to the Q&A. So go ahead.
Couple quick questions, Shannon.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was just gonna say, is Modernizing Medicine currently with open positions are they looking for full-time, part-time, or internships?
Most of our positions are full-time. We rarely have part-time positions. And this year, we didn't do any internships just for the fact of the situation we're in. But usually, and like probably next year, what we'll be doing is opening up our summer and fall internships for different departments. We usually like to hire our interns after the internships because we've invested so much into them, and most of the internships are paid. So it's not like we're just slaving you for free.
Yeah, I think you saw in the chat, but my sister, who is actually like working from home for ModMed right now, she definitely gets us how great the culture is for a company. But my other question was, like in my master's, I've currently learned Java, but I'm also getting beginner experience with Python and R. Would Martinez Medicine be a company that could take even like someone like myself who doesn't have too much IT experience and build up from that?
Yeah. So the good thing about being the type of company we are, a lot of people look and they're like, oh, it's a healthcare company. I don't really want to work in a healthcare company, but we're actually a technology company that's in the healthcare space. So we have like any department technology wise you can think of, we have it. We have a data team. If you want to be a data scientist, one of the data scientists just actually graduated from FAU with his PhD. Young guy named Aaron Richter. So we have data scientists, we have developers, we have QA people. If you're interested in QA, a number of people from FAU are in the QA program. Nick Petty, he was a FAU graduate. He's in the QA, he's a senior QA analyst. IT, that's my department, of course. I hire at 3 different levels. So associate, then there's mid-tier, then there's senior. So my associate, what I look for in an associate is at least an associate's degree and some type of certificates or a programming language. Mostly scripting. So Python is actually really good because we do a lot of bash scripting. So, but yeah, basically that. And then my mid-tier, of course, I bachelor's degrees and some certs. And then my senior are usually bachelor's degrees, but they've been in the business for a little bit and they've been on service desks and they kind of know how to maneuver the system.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to take some from the chat. So Al, are most technology firms like this? I'm curious on the atmosphere of technology firms. Sounds too good to be true. Actually, a lot of technology firms are just like this. Google is like this. Google has I think voluntary nap time in the daytime. So you can actually take a nap at work. We also have Zen Rooms at ModMed where you can take a nap. Just book out 30 minutes and in the middle of the day, you have bean bags in there. There's a little waterfall. So you hear a little waterfall and then you have some music playing, some light music, and it's dark in there. So go in there, you take a snoozer or whatever, and you get back to work. What we found is that, happy workers produce. And we really live by that. So we have a whole department that's literally, their whole job is employee happiness. And it's 4 employees that work in that department, and they do everything they can to make sure that the employees stay happy and healthy. So Kelly Harrison, where are your main headquarters? Main headquarters are in Boca. The Boca Raton Innovation Center. It's that big property campus that's off of Yamato right there. It used to be the IBM headquarters back in the 80s, I believe, I want to say. So that's actually where some of the first computers were, born. So we do pay homage in our building to IBM. So when you walk in our hallways, you'll see a lot of old IBM pictures and people that used to work at IBM. And we actually invite IBM people in to come speak during lunchtime for some type of fireside chats. Jonathan Tucker, what certs would you recommend? For my department, A+, Net+, Sec+. Those are for the mid-tier. Those are the ones I look for the most. For the junior, at least A+ and Net+. And for senior, they usually have A+, Net+, and they'll have some other things like ITIL, and plus experience. Alicia, what should an intern expect from their role? For example, their day-to-day tasks. So I actually hired an intern from FAU, and she wasn't even in MIS. She was a health administration bachelor's. And I hired her because, with me, I'm very big on personality over skill, because you can teach skill, but sometimes personality you can't really teach. So I try to get people that I know are going to be friendly. Unfortunately, the IT space has been known to be like very sterile, and the people aren't friendly, and they don't like to talk to people, and they don't like to help people. I come from a big customer service background. So when I joined, my biggest thing was to make people customer service friendly, make people not think of IT as a place where people won't help you. So everybody that I hire are exceptional customer service people first, and great IT people second. And then the people that I met when I joined there and they became a part of my team, I've pushed them to be more customer service than anything, and then worry about the technical side second.
So I know Kelly wanted to ask a question to you, so I don't want her to lose her slot. So go ahead, Kelly, if you want to. Sorry to put you on the spot, Kelly.
It's okay. Yeah, I was wanting to ask. I just wasn't sure if we were like done with the whole like unmuting ourselves. But I have a question. So do y'all have people for your company that do pharmaceutical sales, or like the type of sales for your company? Because that's what I'm interested in. I'm a marketing major, and it's kind of the whole like medical technology thing. So do y'all have sales reps, like outside sales reps for your company?
Oh yeah. Our sales team is like phenomenal, and it's a huge department. It's a very big department. So there are currently around, I want to say about 150 sales people, and we have 800 employees. So that's a good portion of the company dedicated to sales. And we have sales at every tier. So there are sales development reps. They kind of get the leads. And they feed those to the regional sales managers. Those regional sales managers, what they do is they go out and they actually meet with the potential clients. So we fly a lot in our company. So there's a lot of traveling if you're into traveling. So yeah, those guys, they fly around and they meet with the clients and they close the deals, the RSMs. And then we have, above that, we have national sales director. We have VP of sales. So it's very big. And then every year the team, the specialty that sells the most gets to fly, the whole team, the company gets to fly somewhere for a vacation. So I think last year they went to Hawaii, like the number one sales team. Yeah.
That sounds like so amazing, because my dad does pharmaceutical sales for Tamiflu, and my mom does like medical device sales. So it's just kind of like, just naturally, that's always what I've wanted to do. And so eventually I'll be looking for an internship, because I'm only a freshman. But yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a good company.
I didn't even know this was a company in Boca, because like I'm from Texas and I want to live in Boca forever. Like this is paradise. That sounds like too good to be true, honestly. But thank you so much for answering my question.
No problem. Let's see.
So I think Justly was the last one you didn't get to cover.
Okay. Justly, are there self-diagnose options on the website where people can answer questions about their health concerns and make appointments on them? No, not on the website, but through some applications that we're rolling out due to COVID, our new telehealth application that we just rolled out to all our clients. That is an option, and people can make appointments through telehealth for to meet with a doctor. And eventually, when we get back into meeting more face to face, or the doctors go to meeting the patients face to face, we're keeping the telehealth option. Which, by the way, we didn't have a telehealth option when COVID hit. And the development team built the whole application within 25 days. They built out the whole application, tied it into all of the systems that we had and everything within 25 days. And now telehealth is one of our hugest sellers when it comes to selling our package. That just goes to show the grit of the type of people that work there. Also, some of the people that type of people that work there, we have one of the people who he was one of the architects of AOL. He's actually works at ModMed, so I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to know AOL, but yeah. Let's see. Figuring out the color, Dr. Broken. DX Web, consider the competitor. I'm not sure. I haven't heard of DX Web, but it might be. We do have a lot of competition in our space, and especially since we came into the scene and we kind of shook things up, a lot of people have been trying to pretty much emulate the same type of success that we've had by kind of modeling their system after ours, with graphics. Before, EHRs didn't have graphical models where you can put like scars on the model so we could document, and the doctors could take pictures with their iPads and stuff like that. A lot of that didn't exist till ModMed actually came into space, and now that's becoming the standard of what EHRs are.
I have another question. This is Al.
Sure. Go ahead.
How prepared do you think FAU undergrad and your graduate degree prepared you for life after college to actually get in a career? Do you think a master's is highly recommended, or do you just think just having the fundamental of education will open more doors than just trying to go into this whole new realm blind, if that makes sense?
So I would answer that saying that it's dependent on your goals. The MSITM is a management degree, and it teaches you how to manage IT teams, and it teaches you how to be a leader in that space, in the IT space. So without any experience, the MSITM, it helps you, it looks good, but what happens is it's going to help you more down the line. So you're in this company for a year, 2 years, and you came in on the entry, you and another guy. But when it comes promotion time, guess who they're going to look at? The guy with the management degree, because they know he can lead a team. They know he knows his ITIL steps. They know, these things that you learn in the MSITM degree. So I'd say it depends on where you want to be in the business. I don't do, at my level, I don't do anything technical. My job is literally managing very skilled people, and FAU did prepare me for that. But also, like I said, I've been in the military for a lot of years as well. So I've led a lot of teams to war and back. So that helped me in getting the level of position that I did right out the gate. but our entry level positions are very well paid. So don't look at it like it's just entry level. No, they get paid very nice. So, but I would say you don't have to have a master's degree, but it does look good. And that's the gist of it right there. If you want to jump out and really just get into working, the bachelor's is fine. But the master's, I say it's of value because it's only a year.
Shannon, that's awesome. Can you tell them a little bit about when you were making that transition, when you were finishing the master's, applying for jobs? Can you tell them a little bit about the struggle you went through, and how much work you had to put in? Because I don't want them to think like you just woke up out of bed and you got the job. So can you tell them a little bit about some of the stuff you were doing?
Definitely. So I was in my final semester the beginning of the final semester of the master's degree, and you start panicking, right? You've been a student for all this time. At the time, the military was paying for me to go to school, so I didn't work from my associates all the way up to the master's. I didn't work. I just went to school. I was just a student. I got paid every month to go to school. Here I am, the last semester. I'm scared out of my mind because I'm like, what happens after this? And, pretty much I want to say it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. I went on an applying spree. I went to every job fair that the school had, and I talked to people. And a big part of that talking confidence actually came from the master's degree, the GEB course, I think is. So, learning to talk to people and being very confident and going in and just asking questions. Do you have this available? Do you have that available? This is what I'm looking for. And I applied to 88 jobs. I remember because I had a tracker that I was keeping, and which I advise you guys to, so you know where you've tried and whatnot, and the status of your application. I applied to 88 jobs, and I actually wasn't getting any hits back, that many hits back. And I met with the Career Center at FAU. Just had them look over my resume and see if they can make any improvements with the resume. And I got the resume back. It was full of red ink. They told me to change this, change that. And I was just like, oh my God, this is a lot. But I did. I changed everything on that resume. And I went to the job fair probably a week later after I changed my resume. And I got 6 offers. So it's the simple things like make use of the resources that you have. FAU provides a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities, a lot of systems that can help you, on your career path. And you really just got to put yourself out there and do the work if you want to see the results. I got an offer from Deloitte. It's one of the big 4 firms, to work in Orlando to be a federal cyber risk auditor. Got the ModMed offer and a couple of these things. So, you really just have to, it's really on you, the grit and grind. And you can't be mad at the system if at the end you graduate and you don't have a job because you didn't apply for anything. You didn't put yourself out there. So it's not a piece of cake. You're competing with other people, but like I say, confidence and grit and just putting in the work, it'll pay off.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. So I think we're getting close to the end. So any final question anybody has that they'd like to ask Shannon?
Well, they're getting that in. I want to piggyback off of that, like really take advantage of all the resources you guys have available. And, FAU offers so many. There's a career center. There's kind of, these meetings that we have every week. We try to bring in companies. We can only do so much to help you guys. you guys have to make sure you take advantage of that. But then you also have to like put that passion in when you want to get the job. If you want to get it, we can put them in front of you, but now you have to take the turn at the wheel, and you got to get yourself, move forward and kind of push yourself to get into those opportunities and jobs that are open. So just to piggyback off, because it's a nice thing.
It really shows. The effort really shows. Throughout our masters, I had like a little group of friends. It was like six of us in the same kind of cohort. We were all graduating at the same time, and we just really pushed each other. Like, hey, are you applying? Have you been applying? Who you applied to? I'm applying to them too, XYZ, and all six of us got jobs before we even graduated. So, I mean,
yeah. No, I heard a nice quote that was like, and I'll let you take the question in a second, but it was, your 5 closest friends describe who you are. So, if you're surrounded by people that are, chasing opportunities, really getting out there and pushing themselves to move forward, you're probably going to be a similar routine like them. I'll read Kelly's question to you for you, Shannon. What would be the best way to apply for an internship for your company?
So we actually advertise the internships. You'll know when they're available. We don't have any right now, and yeah, you'll see them on ModMed company careers. But the ones that aren't on there, we have recruiters that come out to the schools and they visit all the schools a lot. So at the job fairs, get to the job fairs, the virtual job fairs, there's most likely a ModMed recruiter out there. There's always a ModMed recruiter out there usually. So, and they'll tell you about any internships that we possibly have. We just don't have any right now because of COVID, but next year when we go back to the office, then we'll definitely be, bringing back internships.
So really quick, I wanted to see, TJ, did you want to add anything about your recent experience? Because TJ, one of our very own here, just recently got hired within like the last month at ModMed. So I don't know if you have anything really quick you want to throw in if you feel up to it.
Yeah, just be active. I mean, I found the position through Handshake, and that was, the interview process was great. And I'm working from home now, so I finished my shift at 5, and jumped straight into the meeting right after that. So it's awesome seeing Shannon here, because I know he handled a couple of my IT tickets that I put in for like a few things. So it's fun. But yeah, definitely stay active and network and stuff.
Awesome. So I think
Zach.
Oh yeah, Zach, did you want to ask your question? Oh, Zach asked a question.
Yeah. Said, do the recruiters know about me? Said, they sure do. So this slide deck that I created, I actually created for the recruiters. So they know about MISA. They've actually been to MISA quite a few times. Shelby and I forgot the other girl's name, but yeah, they've come to MISA a couple times. And usually if at an info session, like an in-person info session, I'd have the recruiter there too. So.
Yeah, we had Diane in the early days when you guys weren't so big.
For anyone else, like, when you're editing your resume, I this is for at least my personal resume, I like to add an extracurricular section to it, and that's honestly where I throw in MISA in there. It's just part of a school, takes up more space on your resume. Perfect place to recommend it because, I'm assuming not just ModMed, but MISA's had so many different companies come in, talk to us, and are aware of us, and a lot of pretty good history with us. So, the MISA word can't really hurt you at this point. I think it can only help you.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Especially, I preach the gospel of MISA in my company, and
we appreciate that
because I've seen so many great people come from MISA and go on to do a lot of good things. Jessica, Christian, so it's Jonathan. Like this is a lot of people have done so much great things once they graduated and they came out of MISA. So I can only say that only good things about them. So that's why they always take my word when it comes to
awesome.
MISA.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I think it's a good time for that. So let me
Yep.
go ahead and stop.